Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope all of you are doing great. As always, we have my amazing friends slash family members, brothers and sisters from another mother. We have Cheryl Dean from Taking Care of Business. She takes care of Not Your Dad's executive coach. She will teach you how to do it right. And we have Irina Pornova, our manifestation coach. Bruno, or self-love coach, and me, your digital marketing and personal development guy. So, couple of things. I know that all of us has something that stresses us out badly, that wears us out. And sometimes as people, as human beings, what we do is we just say, I'm gonna carry this load a little bit longer, and I'm gonna carry a little bit this load a little bit longer, and a little bit longer, and a little bit longer. And I'm gonna start today's episode with, a psychology professor came to the students one day and told everybody, so I don't have a glass, but we can do it with a cell phone. So how much do you think this cell phone weight? What's the weight of this cell phone? And in their case, it was a glass of water, and people started just guessing different kind of weights. Until one of the students towards the end said, it just really depends upon how long you hold it. And truly at the end of the day, that's what it is. We as humans, we're created in such a magnificent way that our body does so many things at the same time. We can breathe, we can talk, we can walk, we can do so many things. Our neurons are connecting and giving us thoughts in milliseconds from one to another. Yet we choose to hold on to things and never let go. So who here would like to share one or two things that were wearing you out, but you want to finally say, what? It's life. I'm just going to let it ride, let it slide, let it go. Who would like to share a couple of things that were wearing them out?
I mean, I would love to go first, actually, on this one, especially because welcome. My patience sucks. So, people themselves wear me out, fucking people. And so, it's like, which is a little bit contradicting for somebody who's a coach. Right, but it depends it depends who you're directing yourself to. I feel like when I am projecting any sort of stuff towards somebody, I'm giving them their power, and my head actually hurts. Like my head starts hurting, like in here and all that crap. Like my head actually starts hurting when I start putting so much energy, so much emotional charge into it. I'm losing it. I'm losing my power. I'm losing my energy. I'm losing my life force.
And that is exactly the meaning of wearing out. My question was, and not to cut you off, but the question was, can you share a couple of things? You mentioned people, and what will be the other one?
Well, people and cheap dopamine.
Cheap dopamine. Okay, explain that one.
Easy way out, everything other than delayed gratification.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because the delayed gratification doesn't have to be hard, doesn't have to suck, doesn't have to be, you don't have to bleed and break your bones for that. But it's something that, it does wear you out, but it's a good thing. It's a good wearing out. It's something that will make you tired, but it will make you tired for a reason. Something that wears you out and you don't even want to do has got to be one of the most oppressive things in the world, because you're wasting your own energy in something you don't want to do. You're not getting any younger. You're going to die in 50, 60 years. Some people are going to die in even less. And you feel like you want to die right now. That's a waste of a day. Right? And so, right. But when it comes to then cheap dopamine is also something that kind of wears me out, because even if in the moment is very good, right? It's something that in the end, it's in the long term is not going to be very good, right? For example, smoking, right? Smoking cigarettes, people there's a study that came out, I believe, so I don't want to lie, that which actually was my mom who told me that, because my mom used to be a big time smoker. She stopped smoking because then she got pregnant. And funny enough, she was the one who told me, like smoking in the beginning may calm your anxiety, but on the long term only increases it. Right. So, right, you have the cheap dopamine, which is, like you get the pleasure from the calming down, right? Because that's right, because of how you feel. So you manipulate your brain gets manipulated into releasing that chemical. But anyways, that's more the science. But which is kind of cool, badass. And yes, bro. So people, cheap dopamine, and what else? Yeah, yeah, that's what I kind of came up with right now. People and cheap dopamine, but you have to find the balance. You have to find the balance, right? You have to
Okay,
know what
so
is worthy of your energy.
we're gonna keep those two in mind. For Bruno, is people and cheap dopamine, and we're gonna jump back to it. That's why I didn't mean to cut you short, but we're gonna jump into each one of the topics, and that's why I don't want you to over express everything about it, because we're gonna dig into them. If you tell me everything about it, there's not gonna be anything else to talk about it later. Okay, so who else would like to share a couple of things that wear them out?
Exactly.
Yes, Kara.
Mine is navigating that brain body space, right? Like my brain will be fully engaged. My body's like, we need a nap though. Or my body is like, let's run a marathon. My brain is like, words and noises.
Yep.
And getting those to align so that I have the energy in the body and the brain at the same time. That is a whole job in and of itself.
That is true. Okay, so the nap and the body, those are one, right? Or is that the two?
Yeah. So it's the brain body. It's that
The brain
one
body.
is worn out where the other one is not. And it wears me out trying to get to them in alignment.
Okay, and what will be the second one? The second thing that wears you out, if you happen to have one.
Yeah. Me.
Oh, there you go. You actually jumped all the way towards the end, so I love that.
I wear myself out a lot.
Yep. So okay, so we have the body-mind balance and you. We have people and cheap dopamine for Bruno. Irina, what would be a couple of things that wear you out?
Well, when we talk about physical, not enough hours of rest. It really can wear me out. But I literally just, like sitting and just, like I just want to put the matches in my eyes to make sure that I'm still awake. Right. This is like something that like on the physical level wears me out. On the mental level, people who complain but don't want to do anything about it.
Who wants change? Who wants to change? Oh.
No, when do we want to do it? Soon? Okay. So the first one was the lack of sleep, right? And the second one you mentioned, it was people that want to change but they don't want to do anything about it, right? Okay. The two for me is that I tried, and I definitely try because I've said it a few times, I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be perfect the first time if possible. And I'm very tough with myself on that one. And I'm tough with everybody else with it. And that wears me out because I put 110% no matter what my state of mind is. And the second one, as a single dad, I try to be super dad 24/7. And sometimes, listen, parents, I know that there's that whole new woo-woo age that you don't do this with the kids. You don't tell them that because that shows that you don't care about your kids. Look, and I'm gonna say this live and everything. I'm a firm believer that sometimes a little good spanking does a lot better than a lot of talks and a lot of yelling and screaming for the rest of your life. So those are the two things that wear me out. So we're gonna go in the same order as Bruno, Kara, then Irina, and then me on the next topic. Okay, Bruno mentioned people and the cheap gratification. So, Bruno, now that you're conscious about those things wear you out, what are you doing to let go and not let that bother you a lot? Because let's be honest, the thing that that wears us out is that we are so over focus on that thing that wears us out. So, what are you currently doing? How are you managing?
Okay, so first of all, if people stop listening to me, my Wi-Fi is kind of like all over the place right now. So yeah, emotional impulses. I have noticed that I have a lot of it. I have there's a lot of emotional impulses, and I have noticed that there's actually a big pattern to it, right? And I know my cue, and my cue is to procrastinate in what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it eventually. And so
Yes, we're here. Can you hear us?
oh, you're here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I
hear
can
you.
hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear. Everything just stopped for a second. The screen just went blank. But yeah, so emotional impulses, right? And no, I can even notice that the on the days that those emotional impulses they happen, I progress with those emotional impulses, right? I lose my absolute shit so much more faster, right? Like it's not even like it's sort of like it's crazy. Um, and so and then again like giving my energy to things that don't really matter that much, right, also kind of wears me out a lot, and I end up being weirded out a lot because the cheap dopamine that weirded me out and gave me pleasure, right, got completely ruined, right, because I followed the emotional impulsivity right after right after, whether if it's minutes or an hour after, right? And not only I ruined the piece that I had, but that cheap dopamine in the present stopped making any sense anymore because I ruined the piece that I had, and I tried to find it in an easy way, right? And so if I don't let myself go to emotional impulses when it comes to cheap dopamine, I always don't wear myself out with people because both, whether if it's cheap dopamine, that will always be available to you. It will always be available, right? It will always be available to you for you to use and get it, right?
Mhm.
And we cannot blame the fact that, oh, but it's there. Yeah, but a bridge is there and nobody's telling you to jump from it, right? So it's one of those things where, again, taking accountability helps a lot, right? It helps a lot. I mean, we have to take accountability. It's our problem, so we created a problem, so we can also create a solution, right? And so the less power we give to whatever is there and should not be there, in our egotistical perspective, like the world spinning around us, right, which it doesn't, right? We have to take accountability for that, right? And putting the power to myself, right, giving the power to myself like that actually raises my vibration, because I'm like, I know I have the power to change some changes, so that makes me feel worthy, that makes me feel important, right? In a good sense, not in an egotistical sense, but to know that I'm not so incapable, right, of not changing my life or little things, right? And so that is also super 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 crucial. I feel like it's all about perspective. Accountability helps a lot. I take it a lot when it comes to those things. And yeah, so yeah, take accountability and really controlling my emotional impulsivity.
Yeah, I love what you just said. I love that you mentioned that accountability, which is the thing that a lot of people run away from, relationships, business partnerships, couples relationships, people run away from accountability. And I love what you said, Bruno, that being accountable helps you raise your vibrations, helps you, be true to yourself. And not only that, feel great because now you're being congruent with your thoughts. So accountability is one of the best things ever for anything you want to, to start or do. And it starts with yourself. So I love that one. That's a great lesson in itself, Bruno. Thank you. So Kara, okay, you mentioned two things: the mind and body balance, and you. Those are the two things that wear you out. And what are you doing currently to deal with it? To how would you find to manage those two things?
So I know I have talked about the 80-20 principle probably ad nauseum, and you're all just like, oh, there she goes again. But that, I mean, it really, really is such a huge part. It's baked into my Monday routine. I have 3 different accountability spaces where I practice that. I have a co-working session, I have a mastermind, and then I do my own review within my group, so that we are building that habit of looking at, okay, try not to get all the way up on the soapbox, but I love the conversation around accountability because it has been done so badly, and that's why people avoid it. They don't realize how empowering it is to take back control of your life and decide what you can and cannot do for you, regardless of what everybody else is telling you. We've had too much of holding people accountable. Like, that's not, it's an internal thing. You can't do that. That's why it feels gross to everyone else. What you can do is help them. You can help them see where they could have done things, where they can do things, and then lean into that. That's where it starts. That's my accountability thing there. But that's really what it is. It's an 80-20. So 80% of what we do, part of the reason accountability is hard is that mental work, right? It's that 80% of the busy stuff that we're doing up in here that results in 20% of what we actually use to accomplish, the mechanical side versus the mental side, right? Mm-hmm. And so I do an 80-20 review. I've baked 80-20 into my weekly review in 3 different directions. So we talk about the 80-20 as job, the work is the 80% and the job is the 20%. The mental side is the 80% and the physical or the mechanical is the 20%. We also talk about how while 80% of it is really you working, you can actually give yourself a bonus 10% by showing up and doing it with other people, because they'll start to take some of that weight away. So for when I'm struggling with my mind-body alignment, I look at that 80-20. How much of this do I need to deal with? Because I'm just making myself tired. Like Bruno was saying, how the 2 parts are actually kind of, you address one and the other one kind of falls into place, because now you have more energy for doing things. You're less wore out. So things that wear you out less. So it is what of this am I needing to address and set aside and just recognize that I'm carrying around a weight that's not mine? How much of this is real weight that I need to address and move through? And how much of this is stuff that I would be easier to carry with others? Mm-hmm. And I do that for both my mind-body alignment as well as when I'm getting in my own way and wearing myself out.
I was just going to ask you if those 2 were the answers for both of them.
All of the above. Yep.
So we have accountability from Bruno. We have from Kara understanding that you have to work within your limits. Let me see if I understood that correctly. You do have limits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and accountability is a big part of it. And understanding your limits is also how Kara said, how you manage those limits. And that's where she means the 80-20 rule. How she's gonna work those out. And I love, because I've always dealt with leadership on the 80-20 with dealing with people, that never on the personal side. That's a concept that I haven't used on myself. Thank you, Kara. See, I always learn something new with joining you guys. Okay, so Irina, how have you managed to deal with your 2 most worrisome issues that wear you out?
I'm managing.
You're managing,
right?
Okay.
We have no other choice, right? It's not like, there is an option, right? But just to connect with what Kara was saying, that it's also just understanding that our body requires the rest. And no matter how much we want to do more and accomplish more and everything, right? Our body is gonna tell you, it's gonna actually command you when you have to relax. Otherwise, you definitely end up sick and taking more days in the bed to go back to your normal state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that sleep deprivation is something that really wears me out.
Okay. And how are you working with that one?
How am I working with that one? So far, I'm trying to work with that one, but
Okay, this is a work in progress. It's valid. All of us, we have lots of work in progress. I
yes,
like one of mine is still a work in progress. So yeah.
yes. Well, what I have to say that weekends are actually the catch-up time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the time where I could sleep longer because I have to wake up 5:40 every morning because I drive my son to the school. And this is something, and then like sometimes I put him to bed around 10:30, and then I wake up myself because I still have to finish something. So sometimes it goes to 1 o'clock, sometimes it goes to 3 a.m. So the point is that when we do not have enough hours rest, this is exactly what wears us out. I mean, for me, for sure, because we do not function the same way.
Yep. That is true. So the first one was I remember the sleeping, and the second one because my memory. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep my
For
memory.
the people who complain about their
I'm not
life,
getting.
but they are not ready to do anything about it.
Oh, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Let me hear you because I haven't been able to figure how to deal with that one.
Right, right. And it's just like, at the initial stage, I'm like expressing compassion, and I'm expressing, like what can we do to change and everything, right? And then, like we go back to the same conversation over and over again. And like Bruno, I just started to notice that, I'm just like pouring my energy into something that's not worthy of my time, right? Because the person is still not going to act upon that, right? So it wears me out energetically for
Yeah,
sure.
but what is it you? Because me, I get to the point that I'm like done. I'm literally done, and at that point I'm like I am at understanding and I feel like sad that they're not doing what they want to do. But then after I tell them a couple of times, I'm like, it's on you, dude or girl. That's it. Thank you.
I just I just avoid the interaction, that's it. Just for my own benefit, for my own sake.
Yes, Kara.
So okay, you can't see it on the screen, but I have it written right here on my wall, and it says, "You cannot coach a vampire not to bite." One of my very first mentors, Andrew Nelick, cannot suggest him enough, the Center for Executive Coaching. He has a book that's called "You Cannot Coach a Vampire Not to Bite," and that's the whole concept. So it's part of the reason that I have a Facebook group, Why Kara Corner exists, because there are any number of reasons why somebody absolutely knows they want more, absolutely knows what they want more of, and are not doing it. It could be anything from fear and your own trauma responses to legitimate financial issues to just not having like knowing that there's a next step, but not just the absolute terror in taking it because they've not been investing in themselves. They don't have a habit of this. So I created a group. When that happens, I'm like, here's the offer. Here's what I think I can do to help you, or the connections I think, whatever that is. And if you're not ready for that, come hang out in this group. Show me that you are ready to show up for yourself, because I'm there. I'm going to be there at this time. Both of these, this is what I'm doing. Show up for you in that space, not for me. But if you show up for you, then I know you're ready for me to show up for you as well, because I can't want it more than you.
Yes.
Perfect.
That is one of the things that you just hit something that just gave me that aha moment. I cannot want it more than you do, because somehow we people that we care for the other people, we tend to want them to see them do better.
Yeah.
Mainly if it's something that they tell us that they really, really, really like. Okay, so Irina, would you like to add anything else on it?
No, I just want to say that I learned how to deal with that, right? I just avoid this kind of interaction because it's just for my own sanity.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So number one, I would like to thank Mariah Joy Chase. She gave us a quick thumbs up, so thank you very much for that. And as I was mentioning a minute ago, yeah, I also have my own things that are work in progress. I'm gonna start with the one that is a work in progress, which is the being super dad. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of mothers and fathers that try to be super mom, super dad, and try to do everything for their kids. Guys, it's taking me a lot of repetition in my head that sometimes you can only do so much for your kid, and you have to let them realize or do their own things and let them fail. It's hard. Believe me, it's hard. Mainly for me that I've gone through so many issues in my life. Knowing that my daughter is going to fail, mainly by the choices that she's taken, knowing that those are choices that I've taken in the past and they have hurt me, is like, please don't go that way. But the more I say that, the more she tries to go that way. So she's 17, just for the people that don't know. So because of what I'm going to say next, before people say, oh my God, you're crazy. No, she's about to be 17. So the phase of making sure that she's alive has passed. She knows what's good or bad and not to put her fingers in the electric sockets. But now we're on the phase that, is going to build her as an adult. It's going to put her adulthood together and see what are the things that I have taught her have worked and what things haven't stick or haven't worked. And that is tough because as a parent, you want your kids to have everything and not miss out on anything in life, and mainly the things that you didn't get to have so they can have them. You work really hard for that to happen. And there are times in life where you have to say, you know what? You are of a certain age. And you know what? My dad used or still tells me, you wouldn't understand me until you cross this bridge. And that is so true. So true. You guys know that I'm all against, 100% against the crystal age community that we are. The crystal, what's it called? Anybody?
Look,
can
I'm
help
super
me?
woo and I don't know what you're talking about.
No, there's the kids nowadays. They're made out of glass or crystal. They have people call them crystal something. Well, if I remember, I'll come back to me. The thing is that you cannot tell kids certain things because it will break them.
Okay.
You have to be like very careful on how do you tell them and what to tell them, because oh my God, immediately they're gonna need they're the crystal generation. If you tell them something, they're gonna need a psychologist right away because you just broke their world. And when back then for us, they will tell us no, they will spank us, and look, it's not just
You're good to go.
yeah. My dad used to call the belt the psychologist.
Jesus.
So whenever I misbehave, he will tell me right on the street in front of everybody. At home, you have a meeting with a psychologist. So I knew I was going to get spanked. So, and look, I turned out okay. And what I'm saying is that because of the society that we live on, we sometimes have to work a little smarter, not harder. And when I say that is this, I watched a video the other day stating that generations that have gone through tough times create amazing kids that have the type of lifestyle that their parents couldn't get. So in those generations usually think about their kids as, oh my God, like I don't want to make it harder for my kids. I had everything, so I don't want to make it harder for my kids. Let me go ahead and do everything even nicer for them. Creating a soft generation, a generation that nothing is ever good enough, and everything is just give it and hand it to them, creating a generation of weak people. And that's what we're having right now. We're having a lot of people that cannot handle rejection, which is a thing that we are all gonna go through. I don't know anybody that has always gotten a yes in their entire life, always, every single time they ask for.
Of course.
Same thing with the whole bullying. I remember back in my days, they will bully you really hard and nobody will care. You'll be just fine. But now you tell a kid something and it's like, oh my God. So back to what I was saying, as being a good dad, how to circle all this back is that now it's time to, just let go and see. I mean, still be there as a safety net just in case something happens. But let them see what happens when they open their wings. And that is a work in progress for me, because it's really tough to tell my daughter no. It's really, really, really tough. But with a little practice and with a little accountability, it seems like it's working. The other thing is me being a perfectionist. That one is also another work in progress, because I like everything perfect. I don't like anything halfway done. Everything that is halfway done gives me anxiety. So
Good time you spent all that time with your therapist earlier in your childhood, it made you just fine.
Yep.
Tell me more about your perfectionist problems.
Yeah, I gotta work on those. Well, so I gotta work with that one too. But back to what I was saying, all those things we always are gonna be a work in progress. There's nothing to be ashamed of being a work in progress, and there's nothing to be ashamed of having things that wear you out. You cannot be perfect all the time. What you can do is always seek out for help. And talking about help, I would like to share a big event that is coming right up. Okay, we have 2 events actually. So let me go and put each one by one in the screen, and I'm gonna let each one of you share the information. So we're gonna start with a retreat from Kiara. So Kiara, tell us all about, because this is one way that you can help people.
I am so excited. It is for this conversation exactly. I love that it aligned so well. We did not plan that. Love that it aligned that well. What we have been talking about is how life wears us down. Other people's opinions on how we're parenting, other people's opinion on how they want to live their life versus how much potential we see in them, our own opinions on what we are doing. Life wears us out. And we all logically know that taking a step away to recharge makes you a better person, a better parent, a better spouse, a better business person. Also, though, we have been groomed not to do that. We'll logically know that it works and still actively behave in a way that does not work, right? So we have created a Leading Ladies Retreat series. It's coming from the southeast side of Washington State. It is 3 hours once a month on a Saturday. Really reasonable. The price is affordable, $125 a seat. The cost of a nice spa, manicure, pedicure. The commitment we're making to everyone is that we'll have 3 speakers at each event. There will be a completed transformation in each one, as well as body integration. So you don't go home with a list of exciting to-dos. You go home with tangibles that are done to dones. So you're leaving with that immediate win, so that we can start to train people to be the lead in their own life and take the time they need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies, take advantage of that. You have, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, and so this is for the leading ladies. That's this first round. The thing we want everyone to know is we don't care what the genre of your movie is, provided you are living as the lead. If you are not, come see us. We already have in the works a leading man series that's going to come too, because it's not just our ladies that need to take that time off. We all need permission to care for ourselves.
Yep. Can we do bourbon and bacon I'll jump for
I'm
the I'll
writing
jump
it down.
for the
Bourbon and
men's
bacon.
bourbon and bacon kind of a meeting. I'm down for that one. But ladies, take advantage because, like Kara said, when you go and have a manicure, pedicure, your eyebrows, this and that, you sometimes spend a lot more than $125 on something that in 15 days is gonna grow, and you're gonna feel like, oh, I have to do it again. And guess what? The knowledge that you're gonna get in that weekend is something that you're gonna be able to cultivate if you take all that information properly for the rest of your life, making your life easier and better. So don't waste that opportunity. On the other hand, we do have another great event right here from Irina Pornova. It's called Supercharge. So Irina, share your information.
No, Rena, I can't hear
Irina,
you.
you're muted. Somehow you're muted.
Yay, thank you for letting me know. It's Supercharge Your Manifesting Powers. It's 14 days event. It's already in the season, and I have great feedback from people who are thanking me for putting this together because the experts are amazing. All you have to do is just open your inbox every morning, and for 24 hours you can enjoy two speakers who speak 30 minutes on particular topic. They share their personal experience, how they manifested things. They give you practical tools and tips, and you actually come out on the other side. And like I said, when we all come together in that space, we all supercharge from each other. So guys, if you haven't joined, join it, and you'll see how your life is gonna shift.
Mm-hmm. So Irina, is there any cost for the Supercharge event?
No, this is absolutely free. Come on in and just join us. Woo-hoo!
So pay attention to this. Irina's project is free. 1, 2, you're gonna get amazing speakers that are gonna help you not only deal with your situations, but actually gonna tell you how to fix it. Because sometimes everybody has a situation, not everybody knows how to fix it. Okay? So in this case, you can join from anywhere in the world. As long as you go to lifepalette.net/supercharge, you will be able to take care of that thing that is being bothering you, or being able to learn how to properly manifest your next big option in life or your next big project in life. Now, remember, if you're in the southeast area of the Washington state, right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
Go to the ladies retreat and go to bit.ly/Mac retreat, leading ladies with an underscore in between each one, just like it shows here on the site. Look, not only you're gonna get fantastic information, you're gonna get people that are aligned with bettering themselves, and that sometimes has no monetary value. It's gonna pay out big dividends for the rest of your life. So hopefully you are wise enough that you're gonna go ahead and take advantage of that. So now let's talk about your VIP pass, Irina. There's so many good benefits that come from it. So let's hear it. Shoot it.
That's for people who want to invest in themselves. So these series are gone in 14 days, but for people who really want to come back and again listen and see these speakers to take a better understanding, because the concepts are very deep and each time the information sink in differently. For them, for the low investment, only $53. Guys, the price is gonna go up again after the event is over, so take advantage. $53, you have a lifetime access to all these beautiful interviews with the experts with their free gifts. And on top of it, I also offer 1 month in my manifestation membership free of charge, so you could get a taste what it is to work with me. You are gonna have 2 group calls with me where you can ask any questions you want, and you could tap to exactly what you meant to learn and to hear. Take advantage.
All right. So I think we have given you enough information for you to make a decision. Also, we hope that we have been able to show you that you're not the only one that has problems and that you can actually figure out how to fix them. And if not, you have these amazing professionals right here, and even myself. All you have to do is send us a direct message. Now, today we're actually cutting a little bit short, but we want to thank everybody who's watching, or either live or watching after one of the recordings. So does anybody want to add anything before we say goodbye?
We just want to ask everybody what wears you out. We would love to know. We are curious because it's not only us talking. And thank you so much for everybody who participates, who contributes. We see you, we value you, we value your opinion. And for everybody else, we would love to know what is there for you that wears you out.
Absolutely. So in that case, let us know in the comments, keep us posted, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye. Take care, everyone.